All right, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They got smoked by 23 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. The Eagles started the season 10-1, and they went down the dumper from there. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. It never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try and go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It'd be Twitter today. It's Twitter tomorrow. It'll be Twitter 3 trillion years from now because I'm an old-time fart and I hate change. Get off my lawn, right? I'm one of them old-time farts, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter, right? Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related information in there every day. And then, of course, the link right on top of it is a Facebook link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 7,800 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in here, but the members post stuff in here as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a boatload. There's an awful lot, you might say, of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, boy, I'll tell you. You know, as we look back upon the season, as we reflect upon the Giants' 2023 season, man, I tell you, it almost. I don't want to sound. It was just like yesterday. We were kicking off against the Cowboys. It seemed like a little bit longer than that, but boy, I'll tell you, it's amazing, right? You figure September, October, November, December, right? All of January, and here we are, almost darn near halfway in or a third of the way. No, almost halfway. Yeah, because tomorrow will be the 11th. It's 29 days in February this year. It's a leap year. Usually there's only 28. So we're almost halfway through February. It's unbelievable. But it's amazing how fast those times fly by. But so we got one more game left. Should be a good one. As I'm gonna go over. Got a little Super Bowl kind of theme things kind of going on here. I want to talk about it a little bit, but there should be a go. I'm going to my friend's house. I'm not North Jersey, but northern from where I'm at. I'm in South Jersey here, so I'll be watching it there with them. But they said should be a pretty good game. Everybody, the last time the one time the Chiefs when they lost to the Bucs, man, the offensive line was dinged up, So it seems like everybody's pretty healthy here, so it should be a nice game. Should be a good game. I don't really care who wins. If Kansas City wins, I'll be happy for Spags, for Andy Reid. I think this guy's a class act. I won't be happy because it might mean that low-life scumbag Kadarius Toney might get another ring, which, of course, he doesn't deserve. But, I said if the 49ers win it, I'll be very happy for them because they were the cream of the crop without question. In the NFC, although the Lions, if they decided to actually take some points instead of gambling, it's 4th down and 19. You're within field goal range. Dan Campbell, what do you want to do? It's 4th and 19. 4th and 19. Hey, let's go for it. Right? You want to take some points? Nah, let's go for it. So you win by the gamble, you die by the gambling. They die by the gamble. I mean, if you just would have kicked some field goals when he had the chance, maybe the Detroit Lions would be here. But that's a lesson to learn. But I mean, pretty much all season long, I mean, the 49ers were, very, very good team. I mean, when they did play the cream of the crop, I mean, when they did play the Cowboys and when they did play they killed the Cowboys at home. Then they went on the road and just totally smoked the Eagles, just straight up bitch slapped them. They were the best team. Can't say the Chiefs were maybe the best team. I'd have to say in the AFC, obviously, I'm sure that, to me, the Ravens from day one to day, from first to the week of the season to the last, the Ravens were, and sometimes it's not always the best team. Sometimes it's the luckier team or whatever you want to call it. But, the Ravens, they had their chances. They lost by 7 points. They had the fumble there in the end zone. Yeah, it is what it is. And then Jackson throws the interception in the end zone. That's another, at least, if he doesn't try to throw that pass, with Tucker, Mr. Automatic there, I have at least another 3 points there. So, I mean, it is what it is. But once again, it should be a good game. So, after the Senior Bowl was over, I seen this article here. It says that because they got a mock draft going on. Now, you got a pretty much, I mean, obviously, as you can tell in this mock draft, they really seem to think that a lot of the quarterbacks are going to be gone, right? From I did see something. There was a report. I don't remember. I don't know how true it is or whatever. But in one of the Facebook groups that once again, take it with a grain of salt. But there's all kinds of reports. But apparently the Patriots, once again, we're looking possibly maybe to trade the 3rd pick overall. Interesting, very interesting. I mean, I don't know who the quarterback's going to wind up being. I'm not sure if they're going to try to ride it out with, I mean, they got to get something. They can't go and Mac Daddy Jones and Zappy. They can't go into the season with that. I mean, unless they want to lose a bunch of games again, then I guess they could. But they get somebody maybe in free agency or, well, we'll have to wait and see. You see all different types of reports and everything like that. But they got this mock draft. There's a bunch of the heavy hitters here. Let's see here. So we got now, obviously, all these. I'm going to go over them all, like Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper Jr., Dan Brugler. Right. So we got a lot of wide receivers here. Okay, but Jay, I'm not going to complain about it. If you get yourself a dog, right? As I said, like what we're trying to do every year, right? And quite possibly, Shane said he kind of maybe made a little mistake sometimes. It's maybe as far as like last season, he's trying to win now instead of maybe building for the future. Meaning, I think what he quite possibly meant was trading for Darren Waller instead of taking that 3rd round pick and using it as a building block. A 3rd round pick, you can get yourself a pretty nice player. Obviously, you got to draft right, so that's obviously a huge portion of it. But I think he's probably maybe kicking himself right now, because you're getting a player who's going to be injured this season. You're paying him well over $10 million. And, you could have used that third round pick as a built-in block. And I said, you could have got yourself a nice player in the third round. So, is what it is. But hopefully, we won't be doing any of that this season. Hopefully he'll be taking all of his, his picks and building once again. But as I said, what has he done? I mean, if we wind up grabbing a wide receiver in this round, well, a couple of years ago, he drafted Daniel Bell. And I'm just saying, like, as far as wide receivers and, because if we're talking wide receivers here with pick number 6, I grabbed Wan'Dale Robinson, who, as long as he can stay healthy, he certainly looks like he's going to be a very good player. We drafted Daniel Bellinger. He needs to take a step forward this season. I do think he regressed a little bit last season. His blocking was not as good. But, somebody you can certainly build with on your roster, right? And we got Jalen Hyatt. We got Darius Slayton. Hopefully we're going to bring Hodgins back. I wouldn't mind that at all. But as I said, then if we take a wide receiver, right? So then, as I said, then what do you look at, right? 2 years ago, we got Robinson. Last year, we got Hyatt. This year, maybe we might take Neighbors or Dunze, right? Because I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to land to us at number 6. I don't see that happening. But, I'm saying, so in 3 years, we drafted 3 different wide receivers. And, not saying we're, we got the greatest receiver core in all of football, but I'll tell you what, it's not a bad threesome. I said, especially if you throw Slayton in there, that's not bad, not bad at all. Especially if we get ourselves a dog, that's what we need. So Daniel Jeremiah has taken Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver from LSU. It says this continues the Giants' quest from last offseason to add team speed. Neighbors is the most explosive wideout in the draft. Won't complain. Mel Kiper Jr. has Malik Neighbors too. I keep coming back to getting Daniel Jones more help as he has never played with a true number 1 wide receiver. Neighbors could be that. He's coming off an 89 catch, 1,569 yard season catching passes from Jaden Daniels. And he has a rare combination of speed and route running ability. He led the FBS with 17 catches of 30-plus yards. All right, so once again, combination of speed and route running. Not going to complain if we take him. Dan Brugel has just taken a Dunze from Washington with his side speed profile and ability to play through contact. Dunze is a quarterback-friendly target with the tools to be a legitimate number 1 option. The Giants haven't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver since 2018, but a Dunze might change that as a rookie. And then, of course, it's what it's like the theory. Everything's relative, right? Right. If you got yourself a dog, right, it's going to make the other wide receivers better. Because it's like, it's like when Odell Beckham Jr. was on the field. I'm not saying these guys are going to be an Odell Beckham Jr., but they might kind of rival him, right? Especially as a number 1. Whoever goes over to the one side, they're like, oh, there he is. So we got a cornerback over there. We maybe to put a safety over the top or something like that. A lot of attention being paid over here to the one wide receiver. So that little frees up a little bit more Hyatt, maybe frees up a little bit more Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe a Darren Waller. Also maybe helps free up the running back if it's Saquon or whatever in the backfield. Stuff's all relative. They can only put so many guys on the field on defense. Only put 11, right? Because you got a dog and they maybe have 2 people over there. That means there's only 9 guys left to maybe, might cover the rest of the field. So that's why getting a number 1 guy is so huge, right? So huge. All right. And we got, who we got? Matt Miller of ESPN has a Dunze, 6'3", 215 pounds. Bucky Brooks has a Dunze. If the Giants are going to continue with Daniel Jones as a QB1, they must add a legitimate number 1 wide receiver to help the quarterback thrive. As a catch and run specialist with superior strength and power, Dunze could make the game easier for Jones. Jordan Reed of ESPN has a Dunze. Could also be, they think, because maybe they, some of these other guys who maybe have a Dunze might think that Neighbors might be gone already too. And you don't see, I don't know if I see Harrison Jr. coming anywhere. Any of these guys. Now we start getting into the guys who think they're going to take a tackle. Once again, I wouldn't be upset, because then you got Andrew Thomas, you got Michael Schmitz as your center. They like Fuaga and Alt, right? So now you got your tackle. You take an Evan Neal. He's now a guard. So now you got yourself a guard. You got yourself 2 tackles, and you got a center. All you need is another guard now, whoever that's going to be. If it's going to be McKeithen, Azudo, if you're going to go out and draft and bring a free agent in or something like that. So, right? I would feel better with Evan Neal being a guard than as a tackle, because he's just shown time and time again, 2 things. 1, he can't stay healthy. But 2 is that put him out on an island, he's a liability out there. He's not on an island as a guard, right? He's 330 or 340 pounds going up against a 330, 340 pound defensive tackle. Mano. He's a sequoia tree. The defensive tackles aren't going to be 6'7", 6'8". They're not Buck Buchanan or anybody like that, or Ben Davidson, but they'll be about the same height and about the same weight, right? But they're not going to blow him away. Evan Neal's not going to get blown away by defensive tackle speed. He ain't going to blow around. You know what I'm saying? So, but Lance Zierlein has the Giants taking Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. Fuaga is one of the finest pass protectors in the draft, and some see him as a guard tackle. He even gives the Giants flexibility with where they'll play Evan Neal. So, it's a guard tackle. If they still want to try Evan Neal out there at tackle, maybe put Fuaga in at the guard. If Evan Neal keeps struggling, they just flip-flop him. Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic thinks the Giants will take Joe Alt from Notre Dame, my favorite school. Alt is 6'7", 322 pounds. Will be offensive tackle 1 on some boards after a fantastic junior season with the Irish. He still moves like the 220-pound tight end he was in high school. That's pretty freakish. 6'7", 320 pounds, and he says he moves like a 220-pound tight end. 6'7", very freaky. Trevor Sikkema, I guess, from Pro Football Focus thinks the Giants will take Joe Alt. Ryan Wilson from CBS Sports says the Giants will take, if he gets there, Jaden Daniels. I would not be bummed out. I wouldn't be bummed out with any of these guys. Just to be honest with you, would not be bummed out whatsoever. If we wind up taking a tackle, it all starts in the trenches. It doesn't matter if you have 37 Odell Beckham Jr.'s out there running routes. If your quarterback gets the ball, Omaha snaps the ball comes through in his hands. There's 13 guys from the defense hanging all over him. It doesn't matter who's running routes. Doesn't matter if you got Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Jesus Christ running the ball. Don't matter. Starts in the trenches. If your defense can't stop their run game, if your defensive line can't get pressure, it all starts in the trenches. If we're going to take a tackle, and especially what they said with the one guy who said could possibly be a guard / tackle, if they want to give Evan Neal one more, hopefully he's healthy, operating on, comes back. Hopefully he'll be healthy, right? Let's put him back out there, right tackle, down on our knees, and sweet dear baby Jesus, please let Evan Neal do good at right tackle, please. Thank you. Right? Give him whatever. Couple games, 3, 4, half the season, whatever. See if he can stay healthy. Let's see if these freakish athletes coming off the edge. Let's see if he in space, can he block them? We'll wait and see. If that fails, right? Then you just take the one guy you drafted, right? Put him out of tackle. Put Evan Neal in at guard, where he's in a phone booth, right? He doesn't have to worry about trying to catch guys, right? So But I said it all starts in the trenches. So if you're gonna take it, there's nobody. There's maybe one guy, just what I'm hearing. Maybe one guy in the top 10 might be a defensive player. So that, for the most part, there's probably, unless the Giants trade back, somebody's got to jump. If Jay Daniels there, the Giants don't want him for whatever reason. Somebody else wants to jump up and grab him, and the Giants slide back, pick up another pick or two. That's cool. But as I said, if they go and they start, in the first pick, for one of the first 2 picks, whatever, guys in the trenches, I'm all for it. Let's do it. As I said, if we've been saying it for 300 years. Going to the right. Giants need a tackle, need a left tackle, need a left tackle. Finally they got. It's after a while. I'm so sick and tired of hearing these things. Need a left tackle. We got Andrew Thomas. Okay, we don't have to hear that no more. Now we got to hear number 1 wide receiver. Why number one. So we go grab a one wide receiver. We don't have to hear that no more. Right. So I'm fine with that. Especially a couple of these guys really seem to be really special. So I'm fine with that. Or if one of the, I don't know if Caleb Williams or Drake May is going to fall to us at number 6. I don't see that happening. Just stuff. This is what I'm hearing. That's all. If Jay Daniels falls to the Giants, if they want to take him, I'm fine with that as well too. Because you're not sure what Daniel Jones is going to be. So, but Jay Daniels is a very freakish athlete. So I'm fine with that. Then we got Damian Parsons from the Draft Network. Thinks the Giants might take Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia. Says whoever's under center would have 2 of the most athletic specimens at the tight end positions, and they could share the field along with Brian Dable's play call, which is true. Until Waller's hurts his hamstring and he has to miss the next 4, 5, 6 games or whatever it might wind up being. But hey, he's a freakish athlete. You take Brock Bowers, who's not a phenomenal blocker, okay, but if freakish athlete, at least catching passes and everything. Connor Rogers from NBC thinks the Giants might take Jaden Daniels. Chris Trapasso from CBS Sports says Brock Bowers. Malik Neighbors from Josh Edwards. Ryan Fowler says Jaden Daniels. Joe Broback. Dude, I don't know what this guy. I don't know. Well, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the draft, okay? He says the Giants are going to says the Giants are going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay. I'm not sure if he has us jumping up or what, but Joe Broback from Pro Football Network says we're already seeing Marvin Harrison Jr. draft stock. Okay. He's saying his draft stock is dropping a little bit with more people supporting guys like Rome Odunze and Keon Coleman. But New York's fine with that. Whether you think Harrison is the best receiver or not, one thing's for sure, the kid can ball. So, he thinks that maybe Marvin Harrison Jr.'s stock is dropping a little bit. He may not be the first 1 or 2 wide receivers off the board, maybe. But if he falls to the Giants at number 6, absolutely. You draft the guy. Brentley Weissman says the Giants are going to take Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver, Deontay Lee from The Athletic, Malik Neighbors. Nate Davis from USA Today says Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, and Will Helms from Pro Football Network says the Giants, Brock Bowers. He played through injuries in 2023 and still flashed dominance. Even with Darren Waller on the roster, Bowers makes so much sense in New York. Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Pretty much, it's, it's, there's no, I'm pretty much fine with all those guys. There's no there's no running back. Okay. There's no, Saquon Barkley. So if we take Bowers, we got ourselves a really good tight end. I'm fine with that. Daniel Bellinger ain't never going to be a Bowers. Not happening. Waller's not good. Waller's a torch holder. He's holding the torch. Once again, we got 17 games this season. He's missing. You just fill the number in. Darren Waller will miss, and you just put a number in there. 4 games this season. Darren Waller will miss 7 games this season. You just fill it in. He's going to miss time this season, right? So, if we want to take up Bowers, I'm okay with that. If they think he's that special, right? If we get ourselves a dog of a wide receiver, once again, let's not forget. I mean, look at what the Chiefs are doing. Their number one dog isn't a wide receiver. It's a tight end. Now, I'm not saying Bowers is going to be Kelsey. Who knows? Maybe he is. Huh? Well, I mean, let's not. The Skittle man got drafted, I think, in the 5th round. So, but also to that point too, from what I'm hearing, is that there's some decent tight ends. After you go from Bowers, you can get maybe somebody, a little bit later on. May not be as good as Bowers, obviously, but as I said, so we take Bowers, he's a dog, right? Heck, if you got Bowers and Waller, when Waller is healthy, right, and you put 2 wide receivers out there, okay, cool. But I said when Waller's gone, you can have Bellinger, you got Brock, you have Bowers, and you have, maybe you can add a number 1 wide receiver next season. Could you imagine that? Having Bowers, a number 1 wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen the Rocket up my rear end Hyatt. Could you imagine that? All right, sign me up for that, brother. Right. So once again, we're building the team. We're not going to the Super Bowl next season. I don't know what the record's going to be. Obviously, nobody does, but we're not going to Super Bowl next season. I said, let's give ourselves a couple more. This draft, another one. We should be able to. We have some money next season as well too, so we get another 7 draft picks, 7 and 7 next season. We bring in 1 or 2 free agents here to help out the team and all of that. Let's see what we got, right? Because once again, Shane says he's building the team. As I said, I really do think the one thing he was talking about that kind of, he was referring to possibly was he might have made a mistake last season. About he's trying to build the team for the future. And what did he do? He traded a 3rd round pick for Darren Waller. Yeah, I mean, a 3rd round pick would be is nice. Darren Waller, 3rd round pick would be for us for at least 4 seasons. Darren Waller is not going to be with us for 4 seasons, and he's very expensive. And that 3rd round pick that we traded away is be like $800,000, $900,000, whatever it is a season for 4 years. We're paying Darren Waller 10, 11, 12, whatever it is a year. So, all right. So that is the mock draft. Let's see. And then, of course, hey, does anybody remember Isaiah Simmons? I brought him up a couple times, that and all and everything. It's a shame. I mean, because the guy's got a very special, skill set. It's where do you put the guy? Where do you put him at? You can't really necessarily put him at like a cornerback, safety. You can't put him on the line. He's as an edge rusher, deep. He's too light. What do you do with him? Where do you put him? But it's a shame because he's top 10 pick, top 10 first round pick. Just a good athlete. Traded away 7th round. It's only 7th round pick, but once again, when you look at the beauty of it, you traded away a 7th round pick. What's going on, buddy? For Isaiah Simmons, 7th round. So, but once again, we don't have a ton of money, free agents money. Hopefully, we can wind up keeping them. Figuring out whether the Giants should keep free agent linebacker Isaiah Simmons is complicated by the reality that we don't know how or if the new defensive coordinator, too, Shane Bowen, would like to utilize him, which is possible. Simmons is an athletic, useful player. He is not, though, an every-down player, nor is he going to be a fit for every defensive scheme or every defensive coordinator. So Bowen's defensive plan will have a direct impact on whether or not the Giants try to keep Simmons in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which is true. They brought him in when Wink was here, right? But Wink ain't here no more. Wink went back to school. Harrison be gone by top 3. Well, the one guy, he said he said the Giants. I forgot who. Let me go back here. Where are we at here? I mean, I was laughing a little bit. I don't know. I mean, that's. I mean, there's a couple of guys that yeah, like like if somebody says the mock draft for the Giants, yeah, they took Caleb Williams or something. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't. It doesn't seem like I don't know anybody who thinks Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be there at number 6, unless they think for somehow the Giants are going to jump up, maybe to number 4 or 3 or something like that, and maybe pick him. But I don't know. Hold on here. Who is this here? Oh, because he thinks whatever. He thinks that Harrison's stock has fallen a little bit. Who is he? There we go. Joe Broback from Pro Football Network. He thinks Marvin Harrison Jr.'s draft stock dropped a little bit. So he thinks that, yeah. But apparently he's the only one that thinks Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be there at number 6. Just, I can't say I've watched his film and all that. I just listen to what everybody else says. And it doesn't seem like there's any way in HELL hockey sticks that he's going to be there at number 6 for the Giants. I like to come back into the 20s by trading our top 2s and get it. Well, I mean, that's another one of the things that, we got the two 2s. It gives you some ammo to jump back in. And the nice thing about that, too, is if you got another first round, you got him for 5 seasons, right? Because as we're seeing right now, right, with McKinney, second-round pick, only had him for 4 seasons. Now he's probably quite possibly going to go bye-bye. If we had him if we drafted him in the first round, right, we could have him for 5 seasons, and we'd still probably be on the team. But it is what it is. But, I mean, that's the nice thing about having those 2 second-round picks. We can, maybe jump back into the first round. There's somebody we really want to get. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But they got, Isaiah Simmons, the number 8 overall pick. We got the number 8 overall pick in the 2020 draft for a 7th round pick. Wow. And he did some good things for the Giants. Used primarily on passing down, sometimes as a rusher, and quite often as a pass defender. Simmons played 377 snaps, or 33% of the Giants' defensive snaps. He finished with 50 tackles, just 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit, along with an interception in return for the game-clinching touchdown. Simmons played 137 snaps as an outside linebacker, 166 as an inside linebacker, 65 in a slot, 8 as a wide cornerback, and 2 as a free safety. Cool. Once again, that's 5 different positions. You can use the guy freaking anywhere. Right? He was used 203 times in coverage, 91 as a pass rusher, and 84 times in run defense. As a pass defender, he had a career best 77.2 passer rating against him. I mean, the guy's got some talent. When Simmons was in Arizona, the Cardinals struggled for 3 seasons to figure out the right way to deploy him. Having a proper plan for him is crucial. Absolutely. So let's see what Bowen winds up doing for him. And then I got in an article. This is from the Big Blue View. Reasons to let him go. Simmons really isn't big enough or physical enough to be a full-time outside linebacker. He doesn't defend and run well enough to be relied on either as an inside or outside linebacker or on rundowns. He's athletic but not instinctive. Simmons isn't a full-time player or every coordinator's cup of tea. If he doesn't fit into what Bowen wants to do, then the Giants should spend their money elsewhere, which is true. Now, let me see here. Let's see here. New York Giants salary cap. And I go to Spot Track, and it should tell you what Simmons. Now, I tell you what, I don't know. Damn. Yeah, sure about this. Wow. They got Isaiah Simmons, $16.5 million average salary. Wow. $16.5 million for Isaiah Simmons. Wow, that sounds a bit much to me. I don't think Simmons will be back. He may not be. As I said, I mean, the thing is because we brought him in, and, obviously there's always talk. There's got to be, with Shane, there's got to be talking, right? Shane just doesn't start bringing guys in And then he calls Wink up on the phone. Hey, Wink, yeah, by the way, I just traded for this guy. I don't know if you can use him or not, but he's coming in. You got to find something to do with him. If you can't, there's some guy named Isaiah Simmons. If you can't use him, well, I guess you're screwed then. You know what I mean? So there's some, obviously there's talking, right? So, they brought him in. Wink, had some ideas and maybe what he could do with him and this, that, they brought him in and, but that was Wink. Wink is different than Bowen. So, I mean, Bowen might have something. Bowen might be like, I don't know, because let's not forget, right? He fit Wink's thing, yeah. I mean, because as I forget, Bowen, he's good with stopping the run defense, right? Simmons wasn't too bad. I mean, as I said, as I was reading in coverage, rushing the quarterback, but Bowen's very good at stopping the run, and it doesn't sound like that's Simmons' cup of tea. So may not be back. The shame of it is we traded away a 7th round pick for him, but a lot of times you don't necessarily hit on your 7th round picks all the time. So, but I mean, it would have been interesting to see if Wink was still here. Would Isaiah Simmons be coming back? But 16, I got Spot Track as $16.5 million. Wow. I find that hard to believe. Says the verdict that depends entirely on Bowen views Simmons. When Joe Schoen acquired Simmons, he first went to Martindale to see if the coordinator wanted Simmons and could come up with a workable plan for using him. Schoen and the Giants need to treat his free agency the same way. If Bowen has a viable plan for him, great. If Bowen isn't sure how Simmons fits into his system, then just move on. So, there's pros and cons for him. But it's going to be an expensive, pro if they bring him back. He's not coming back for sponsor $16.5 million a season. I have a hard time believing he's going to get that much money, but that is what it is. We'll have to wait and see. All right, then we got they got 3 cut candidates here. This is from Clutch Points. Giants, 3 cut candidates on the Giants roster entering the 2024 NFL season. Now, one of them, Darren Waller, right? The first one. Giants acquired Darren Waller for a 3rd round pick from the Raiders last offseason. And the thing is, I'm saying, is that, what I think Shane was talking about, he kind of maybe he's a little upset as far as maybe he missed out on maybe trying to build the team for the future. Here we are. He traded away a 3rd round pick for Darren Waller, and there's whatever stories or whatever coming out, maybe possibly cutting the guy. So he gave up a 3rd round pick for this guy, and we're talking about some people talking about cutting him after one season. And we gave up a 3rd round pick. I mean, that 3rd round pick could have been very valuable to the Giants. The Giants acquired Waller for a 3rd round pick. It seemed like a worthwhile gamble on an explosive player who had posted 1,000-yard seasons in 2019 and 2020. However, that was 2023, and that's a couple of hamstring injuries ago that he got his 1,000-yard seasons. Waller's numbers dropped in the 2 subsequent seasons, but for a team without a bona fide number 1 receiver, adding a target such as Waller made sense to help Jones' continued progression. The former Raider showed flashes of production, logging 7 games with 40-plus receiving yards, but he found the end zone just one time, and he missed 5 games due to his hamstring injury, and he's going to miss more games this season due to his hamstring injury, too. Waller will also be 32 years old by the time the 2024 season starts, and he's set to make $14.5 million. That's also the other thing, too. The 3rd round pick we gave up for him is set to make probably $800,000 or $900,000, not $14.5 million. So we could have, see what the thing is with that 3rd round pick, we could have had that 3rd round pick. He'd still be on the roster making $800,000, $900,000, and this would give us about $13 million to go out and bring in a star player, right? He's set to make $14.5 million. That's simply too much to pay for someone who can't stay healthy and is nearing the age when players at his position begin to decline. The Giants stay put in the 2024 draft 6 slot. Would they be tempted to select Georgia phenom Brock Bowers as Waller's replacement? That would make cutting Waller and reaping the savings a no-brainer. The next cut candidate, this one is, you can almost lock this one in there. The Glow Man, Mark Glowinski. Sorry, Giants fans, you probably wanted this entry to be every offensive lineman except for Andrew Thomas, but let's focus on Glowinski specifically. Glowinski started 5 of New York's first 8 games in 2023 before losing his starting gig. He played sparingly until Week 18 when he returned to the starting lineup in a win over the Eagles. Shane will need to seek upgrades at several spots across the offensive line, and the fact that Glowinski couldn't stick as a starter is telling. By cutting the veteran, the Giants will create nearly $6 million, I think it's 5.7, in cap savings, and they'll have a $1.5 million dead cap hit. With Evan Neal a candidate to slide inside after struggling at right tackle, Glowinski does not figure into the Giants' plans in 2024. And the final cut candidate they got here is Graham Gano. I mean, because you don't know also how he's going to do coming back from his injury, right? His surgery and everything like that. Gano made over 90% of his kicks in 2022, was a revelation for New York, but the 3-year contract extension he signed with the team in September of 2023 couldn't have started out any worse. A left knee injury ended Gano's season in early November, a season that wasn't going well to begin with. The kicker from Scotland was just 11 for 17 on field goals, the worst field goal percentage of his career. Well, that's because he was injured. In 2024, Gano is scheduled to make $7.2 million, which seems exorbitant for the soon-to-be 37-year-old kicker who's coming off an injury. Giants would only gain a modest $1.3 million in cap savings by parting ways with Gano, but with plenty of needs in other areas on the roster, Shane might decide to move on and go younger and therefore cheaper at that position. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, one of the things is like, Gano, you have to see, for me, never underestimate, a good field goal kicker. If he's healthy and if he can return to form, I'm not saying he needs to boot 60-yard field goals, but can he return to form, where he was like 2 seasons ago with his accuracy, right? Because his accuracy, you just can't walk out on the street and find guys, right? Especially in North Jersey with those winds and everything like that. Right? I mean, 2022, the man was pretty special. So you have to wait and see. I mean, you might want to cut him, but heck, he might come back. He might be healthy, and he might be okay. So that one would be for me. That would be a tough one. But all right, and we got the 10 greatest New York Giants moments in Super Bowl history. Now that this one here, I mean, this is very subjective, right? Yeah, obviously there's other ones that I was thinking of that there's quite a few of them. And there's 2 of them I can think of in Super Bowl 25 that I can think of. There's quite a few of them. It's hard to just list the top 10, but here they got this is from NorthJersey.com. Steve Smith, Mr. Reliable, one of the most impactful players in Super Bowl history that always gets lost in time. The helmet catch happened, right? But that may not have taken place if not for Steve Smith's clutch 12-yard grab on 3rd and 11 from the New England 25 with 45 seconds remaining. Yep. Smith was such an indispensable player at the time, and his 5th reception proved to be enormous. One play later, Eli Manning hit Burris to seal the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big play. Absolutely. Chasing down Gronk. Now, it's not, Chase Blackburn, right? His interception. Jumped up in front of Gronk and intercepted the pass, right? The thing is, you can see there's a picture here. Gronk is trying to reach out and try to grab the pass instead of maybe trying to knock it down. But it is what it is. Chase Blackburn had submitted his paperwork to become a substitute middle school math teacher in his Ohio hometown. Weeks later, called back to the Giants as a starting middle linebacker. Blackburn was chasing down Patriots legend Rob Gronkowski and intercepted Tom Brady pass on a critical play that swung the Super Bowl in the Giants' favor. We got George Martin, Big Blue Decks, John Elway. Late in the second quarter, Super Bowl, the Giants trailed the Broncos 10-7. And Denver was driving to extend its lead. John Elway was sacked on first down and threw an incomplete pass. On second down, before George Martin chased down Elway into the end zone on 3rd and 12. Martin decked Elway for a safety, pulling the Giants within 10-9. That was a big one. Changed the momentum of right there. You can also say the goal line stand the Giants had, and then Denver missed the real short field goal. Jay Alford rises up. Of course, Jay Alford, his sack, right? We got here. Brady was obliterated by rookie Jay Alford, who came streaming up the middle, who worked his way free on the interior and delivered a sack that all but sealed the triumph. Yeah, that was a special sack. Mark Ingram refuses to go down. What was it? 3rd down and 13, and he made like 3 or 4 Bills miss, bobbing the 5 Ds of dodgeball: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge, or whatever that is. The 5 Ds of dodgeball. He made so many Bill players miss, and he finally stretched out, and he got the first down on 3rd down and 13. That was a huge play. Super Bowl 25. Right, they're talking about the safety. Of course, Manning lobs it to Burris. Right, of course, the touchdown. Rio Grande, the Manningham catch along the sideline. I mean, what a throw, what a catch just for him to get the ball in his hands, just to come down with it as he's getting hit. What a throw, what a freaking play. Then they got wide right. They play from wide right. Obviously, David Tyree's helmet catch. The guy's the number one. Obviously, it's hard to argue with that. But I mean, there are other ones. I said the wide right, but I mean, you can even look at something as simple as Jeff Hostetler when he got sacked in the end zone, right? Bruce Smith comes and Hostetler, I think he either stepped on Otis Anderson's foot or they something. He tripped over Otis Anderson, and he comes stumbling out, right? So he stumbled a little bit like that. So as he's stumbling, he's trying to get up, and Bruce Smith grabs his hand. Well, Xavier fumbles the ball, right? So he got sacked. So it was a safety, right? But if he fumbles the ball, right, and say Buffalo lands on it, now you got yourself a touchdown. That could have been a huge play right there. It's hard to, it's hard to say. You can also say Everson Walls. Let's not forget about his tackle on Thurman Thomas, who was the best player in Super Bowl 25. And for the most part, hey, they gave it to Otis. God bless you, brother. Thank you, Otis Anderson. Thank you, man. I love you, brother. Yeah. That uppercut. Oh, love it. But Thurman Thomas was the best player on the field that day. But on the drive at the end of the game, Scott wide right. There was a play. I guess a few plays before the field goal attempt, a couple plays before that, Thurman Thomas got loose. He broke. Wide, started going down toward the sideline, and pretty much it was Everson Walls and Thurman Thomas. And Everson Walls made like a grabbed his leg, pulled him down. Right. If he misses that tackle there, and Thurman Thomas, right, even if somebody catches up to him, it's not for another 5, 10, 15, 20 yards or so down the field. Now this field goal is a lot shorter, right? Maybe Scott Norwood makes it, right? So that tackle by Everson Walls, people don't talk about that. It's just way in the 81 championship game. Everybody talks about the catch. Right, in the back of the end zone. People don't talk about the I don't know, they call it the tackle, or they call it the grab, or whatever it is. Was it Preston Pearson or something like that? The Cowboys got the ball back, right? Right. All they I think what they need was a field goal, and they would have won, right? So Danny White completes a pass. I think it's to Preston Pearson. I forgot who the name of the 49er was. The defensive player the 49ers was, but yeah, Pearson caught the ball, was streaking pretty much like down the middle. Looked like he might have took it all the way, but somebody, I forgot who it was, tackled him. I guess I don't know, maybe mine was a horse collar or what, but grabbed them back here and pulled them down, right? And pretty much saved the game. Because if Pearson broke loose, right, even if somebody caught him, would have been farther down the field, maybe to kick a field goal. Well, I think it was on the very next play. I think Danny White fumbled the ball, and the 49ers recovered it. The game was over. But, people don't talk. People talk about, like, the catch, and they talk about this. They talk about wide right and all that, but they don't talk about the tackles. That happened, that set stuff up. So Everson Wall's tackle on Thurman Thomas in Super Bowl 25 on that final drive was freaking huge. And if he missed them, nobody catches him, and the Giants might maybe lose the game. So it's, I mean, you can there's obviously there's not in the Super Bowl against the Ravens, there really wasn't much of anything to cheer about except the one kickoff return back for a touchdown. But other than that, but I mean, that's a pretty good top 10 there. Pretty good top 10. It's hard to argue with that. Hard to argue with that top 10 there. All right. Then we got Spags, Steve Spagnuolo, quite possibly going into some rare air. And you know what? Good for him. Good for him. As I said, I mean, I'll be very happy for Andy Reid if that guy wins another Super Bowl. I'm starting to get a little sick and tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes in there and all that and everything, but Andy Reid's a great guy. And as I said, if Spags wins another one, cool. I'm fine. Let's not forget, right, in 2008, that was the Giants. That might have been the Giants, I don't want to say best team ever, because the 86 team was pretty dominant. But, I mean, that 2008 team was that 2008 team was better than the 07 and the 11 team. It was better. And Spags was the defensive coordinator for that. I mean, the Giants beat the two teams that went to the Super Bowl. Giants went on the road and beat the Cardinals and the Steelers on the road during the regular season. The Giants were the best team in football until Plexico accidentally shoots himself in the leg, and our season goes down after that. But Spags quite possibly going into some rare air here. Spagnuolo could become the most decorated defensive coordinator in NFL history. I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happier for him. Former Giants defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is set to coach in his sixth Super Bowl this Sunday when the Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers face off. Spagnuolo has already won 3 Super Bowl titles and is the only offensive or defensive coordinator in NFL history to win a ring with multiple teams. 4 of the coordinators have won 3 Super Bowls: Richie Pettibone, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, and Josh McDaniels. 2 of those 4, Weiss and Crennel, have Super Bowl wins as Giants assistants. Okay. Not a coordinator, but assistants. Should Spagnuolo Chiefs win on Sunday, he would become the most decorated defensive or offensive coordinator in NFL history. But don't try and tell him now how great he is. Spagnuolo just brushes that talk off. You end up in the positions as they come, right? Spagnuolo said via Giants.com. You can't control that sometimes. I'll be honest with you. It's great to have all that, but it's always been about the relationships with the players, and I value that more than anything. When it's all said and done, I hope my personal legacy is that I was able to share, educate, mentor, coach, teach guys along the way in this business. It's always been about trying to influence, help, mentor, better somebody in something, and it happened to be football. So I hope when it's all said and done, it'll be the relationships I would have been able to at least help some guys along the way. Sure, you end up in the positions as they come, but those positions do not always indicate success. Success is something you earn, and you can't be a successful coach without helping people along the way. Which was true. Spagnuolo has been one of ththose coaches, and a win on Sunday solidifies his legacy as one of the greatest coordinators of all time. Wow. So, that's pretty darn impressive. Yeah, as I said, if he winds up winning, he gets himself another Super Bowl ring. That'll be good for him. And personally, as I said, I mean, he's just think about it, man. He's got, Andy Reid, right? Who, it doesn't seem like he's going to be slowing down or he wants to stop. I mean, also, would you also, if you know what you got with Patrick, if you got Kelsey and you got Mahomes and all of that, right? Would you want to step away from that? I mean, like with Spags, where does Spags want to go? Right? Does he want to, why wouldn't you want to stay with Kansas City and, almost be a Super Bowl favorite every year? Right? I mean, Mahomes, you got to figure Mahomes, I don't know what Mahomes, 18, whatever, 17, whatever it is. So, you got to figure for the next 10 years or so, Mahomes is going to be up there as far as maybe a Super Bowl favorite. If you're like Spags and you got Andy Reid there, wouldn't you want to just hang around there and see how many more Super Bowl rings you can get? Whew, man. Because I think Reed's 65 or 6 or something like that. So I'm sure he's got some more years left in him. As I said, you see Tyreek Hill left. Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. Eric the enemy, he left. Well, the Chiefs are still in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's like, as long as Mahomes is healthy and they got Kelsey, they got themselves a shot. Right, as they say, they don't need a number one wide receiver. Right, they had a very good defense this season. Spagnuolo did a fantastic job with the Chiefs' defense this season. Number 2 overall as far as points allowed per game. Phenomenal! What a great season they had. So, as I said, if Spags winds up winning, good for you, brother. I'll be very, very happy for him. Right, but as I said, I'll be watching it tomorrow, and should be a good game. I have no idea who's going to win. As I said, don't really care. But one thing I do like is I like it to be a close game. I can't stand watching the Super Bowl, and it's like and it's like halftime. It's like 27-3. It's something. It's Although the one time was it 28-3 to the Falcons. Falcons are beating the Patriots. I think it was 28-3, and okay, they didn't want to win it, but I just hate Super Bowls that are blowouts. So hopefully whatever it is, it comes down to, the last quarter, last drive or something like that. Keep it exciting, right? All right, guys, it's been 57 minutes. Whoever's been spending any time watching me live, thank you so much. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay, once again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, means the world to me. Thank you as always. You guys stay safe out there and go